Hey people, this is DJ.
And this is Ish.
And
this
this
is
is
season
season
4
4
of
of
Better Let Me Tell You. Okay, before we have to start paying royalty fees,
The song is so good. Melon Cake by Demi Lovato.
there's nothing about a melon cake that sounds appetizing at all.
That's one of the reasons why she relapsed.
I would have too.
So welcome everyone. Episode
156.
How is everybody?
Everybody's doing good. You know, if you're driving, that means you have gas.
Yes.
I mean, not you personally. It
We
means
will,
your car
we will
has,
get that to a
has
minute.
fuel.
In a minute. Happy Friday, everyone.
Yes. Happy Friday. And also happy, Friday before basically what becomes like almost a week-long extravaganza for us.
Can you go through it again? Because there's just so much that
You're just
my brain-
exhausted right now. I know
Yeah.
you're like Britney when she was learning the choreography.
I just got so much events in my head right now.
Y'all, I don't know. So Wednesday, May 19th, see everybody at Beat Culture for our second trivia night. If you didn't make it for the first one, make it for this one. It was a lot of fun, and there's prizes involved. People like free shit. Then Thursday, May 20th, at Union Beer, we expect to see all of you who are within the Miami area.
And Broward.
Well, yeah, South Florida area. At Union Beer for the launch of Pin Pan Pollo, where we're going to be debuting our, I don't know if we've said it on the show, but Miami's first guayaba y queso wings.
You're welcome.
That's our signature thing. And then for those of you who are going to be out and about at the Sobe Wine and Food Festival, we're going to be at the Friday event. Not as like vendors or anything, but we're going to be out there, so keep an eye out. We're going to be at the Heineken Burger Bash. So if you see us, say hi and, take pictures and post, because that's what we do now.
I'm just happy I have a calendar app.
Yes, remember the days when you didn't? Remember the days when you relied on me to just tell you, like, hey,
Yeah.
be here on Tuesday at 3
But
or
now,
whatever.
between the stuff with the podcast, now the stuff with the chicken, now the stuff with my office, with my guardianship, with my parents, it's like I live and die by the calendar.
Yes, you do. Welcome.
So, like, when somebody tells me something, hey, I'm like, no, hold on, let me look at the calendar.
Welcome to my world, babe. So, yes, we have a jam-packed week coming up, and I'm super excited. Not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous about the wings, but
I'm tired just thinking about it, but if I made it through if I made it through exam schedule, I always say if I made it through exams in law school, I can make it through most things.
It's true. Bring it
Yeah.
on. Bring it on.
Yeah. So whatever. Anyway, so yes, please come and have chicken wings with us at
Yes.
Union.
And trivia and
Yes,
all of it.
Yes, all of it.
All of it. Make it a better Let Me Tell You week. Why not?
I'm just gonna take a nap now. See, I'm done with the episode.
I already told Jose, I'm like, listen, on Saturday, I may just like wake up, go have coffee, y plantarme on the couch and just watch an SVU marathon, but I just don't want to be bothered.
Is that the Saturday after our chicken wings?
Yes.
There's nothing to do that Saturday? Hold on, let me check my calendar. I'm sure there's something I have to build. I'm sure there's something I have to build or some law. Somebody's moving and I have to help them move. Porque cada vez que hay una mudanza, every time somebody's moving, it's like, hey,
no.
can you help me move?
No, ya me quité de eso.
And I'm like, do I look like, what was it, Benkins? Never mind.
No. Yeah, you know what? We are past the age of, sure, I'll help you move for, pizza and a beer. No.
Well, back to the melon cake.
Yes, which sounds horrible.
So, well, yeah, that's what made Demi relapse. So, I
Echa la culpa melon.
love Demi Lovato. I'm a huge fan, and she
May have
released
mentioned it once or twice.
her album actually a couple of weeks ago. It's called, wait, what is it called? Dancing with the Devil: The Art of Starting Over. That's what it's called. It took me a minute. And it's really cool because like the first 3 songs are like the dark songs.
Okay.
And then she kind of has like a little intro track where she talks.
Okay.
And then it's the art of starting over.
So it's like it's like her journey.
Yes.
Okay.
It's chronological.
Okay.
And one of the songs, Melon Cake, she, in the last few years, she was thinner. She looked freaking amazing. I hate to say it because she wasn't happy, but she looked awesome. she she had a very, very restricted diet because of her management. And she, for her birthday, she couldn't have a regular cake. They would give her a melon cake, which basically what they would do is they would slice up a lemon, obviously take out
the seeds and all that.
Yeah, and all that, and then put like fat-free dairy topping around it. Ugh. And that would be her melon cake.
I would have done heroin too.
Yeah, and it's interesting. She has a song about that, how she's like, no more melon cake on my birthday. And the song kind of says how she apparently had an assistant or somebody in her team that one day gave her chocolate and they got fired.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing that she tries to talk about in the album, what she talked about in her documentary, is that she was sober for 8 years. Mm-hmm. And she was like, I was miserable because she was restricted in so many ways. Mm-hmm. So I look at it from a point of view. It's like that's something thankfully I've never struggled with. Right. So I don't want to pass judgment or say like, well, yeah, that's what sobriety is.
Well, I mean, but it is.
Right,
sobriety is wanting to do.
But I feel
is wanting to shoot up and not
right.
Doing
But I feel that unless you've been in that situation, I don't really feel I'm in the position to say. Because from the outside, you're kind of like, well, you're sober and you're healthy. Like, what are you so miserable about, right? But well,
but that's why AA, their whole mantra is, just take it one day at a time because that's all you can.
Right. But she's always said that all her issues of substance abuse are stemmed from her eating disorder. And, obviously we all know this, that when you grow up in the public eye and you're, sure, in her case, a pop star specifically, you have to look a certain way. You have to be sexy and you have to wear certain outfits and, and all that. Porque ella, in her last album, which she was her thinnest, I thought she looked great. She looked thick with a double C, I thought she looked fantastic. Right. But there were still a lot of people are like, que gorda está ella. And I'm like, it's like, coño, pero what more do you want?
Right. You want to be a bobblehead.
Like, what more do you want? You know?
Yeah.
So, whatever.
Never going to be happy.
Anyway. So, are you out of gas?
I mean, physically, I think you and I are getting close to fumes with everything that we've got going on. But no, I am not close to...
I think this gas issue...
I know you're not having a problem, Mr. Tesla.
I'm certainly not having a problem because I got myself an electric car.
You saw this coming, didn't you?
A booyah. I can't say that that was the only reason why I got an electric car, but yeah, I mean, whatever. That's a whole huge conversation.
Honestly, si no fuera because I live in an apartment, I would like to get one too. But
we're not gonna. I mean, that's a whole conversation we're not gonna get into now. But electric vehicle technology has come far enough that it's
not a gamble anymore.
It's approachable,
right?
And my car, I've told you this, when people found out I got a Tesla, they're like, whoa, you must be doing really well. And I'm like, have you checked what Tesla start at?
No.
Because I was like...
It's affordable.
My car is almost the same price as a fully decked Honda Accord. Just an FYI. Yeah. But whatever. But yeah, it's like that was one of the reasons. I'm like, gas prices in the last few years were lower, but gas prices historically have a tendency of going up and down, and and then people start to scramble. And it's like, no. You know what? This is now something that's attainable. Right, so right. And now it's like in a nice car that is performing.
See, it's not some weird looking.
That was another thing. I went from having one of the most gas guzzling cars on the road, Dodge Charger SR, Scat Pack with like a 6.4 liter engine to having a Tesla,
as one does.
But yeah, now I see all this foolishness going around. I'm like, booyah! I'm like, doesn't affect me whatsoever. But going back to the whole issue with the gas,
this foolishness is self-imposed in a way.
That's what I was gonna say.
Let's take a step back. Okay, so there was a hack, right?
Whoa, no, before we take a step back, what I was trying to say before we talk about the issue is that, there's so many things every day and so many things we talk about that it's like a letdown of humanity.
This is one of them.
Yeah. Because they told us not to panic.
What's the first thing they do?
So many, like the president of AAA, who never makes statements, by the way, made a public statement. All these organizations having to do with fuel and the EPA and all that said there is gas, especially in Florida.
I want to read a statement because I actually took a screenshot of something that I wanted to read specific to gas. So, to your point, quote, generally speaking, that gasoline is flowing from a line from Colonial Pipeline from Georgia, and those are the areas I would expect to be troublesome in Florida, Dehan continued. Now, this is somebody who's like part of some, fuel, whatever. Now, the rest of the state, not so much of a problem. The reason for that is much of Florida receives waterborne shipments from the Gulf Coast directly.
At Everglades.
Tampa,
Everglades.
Orlando, Miami, really the lower 2/3 of the state, along with Jacksonville, are all served via barge. And yet, on my way here tonight to record, había en línea que parecía que si tú me hubieras dicho que viene un ciclón,
yeah,
I will believe you.
Yeah. So, everybody said, but the problem is that, like everything else, this became political. So, the governor of Florida, who is already running for president in 2024.
Yes, he's running on the. He looks like a puffy version of a John.
Yeah,
a John Hughes teen movie villain.
He already declared a state of emergency in Florida.
He did.
He did.
Based on what?
Because we're gonna run out of gas.
Based on no. I reiterate my
because
question. Based on what?
He said exactly what you said, right? But he said just in case. He sort of did a just in case. Oh, while we have enough reserves in Florida, and Florida's not directly affected,
we're completely fine.
Just in case, we're going to do that. Why? So that in 3 years or 3.5 years, he can be like, oh, remember when Biden, fucked up and we ran out of gas? I was the one who declared it.
Which, for the record, this has nothing to do with
what
I
think
policy,
it's interesting,
right?
and this will go back to
the setup.
The setup. So what happened was that there was a Russian breach.
Mm-hmm. It was a hack
of the pipeline and the
Colonial Pipeline.
The Colonial Pipeline, which is a private entity. It is not controlled by the government. It is not a government-based or subsidized resource or pipeline. Okay. And there was a Russian hack. And due to the hack, the pipeline wasn't working. Although the pipeline started working as of Wednesday, 5 p.m. But now, although it's already working, they're backed up for a few days.
Okay, but fine.
Right.
Everybody's working from home anyway.
What I think is interesting, and again, everything becomes politicized, it's that the group of people, the side that is now criticizing the current president and the current administration, because you should have known that Russia was going to do this, and you should have known that Russia was going to do this. So now,
Russia's the bad guy.
Now Russia's the bad guy, right? Now when Russia colluded in the election, right?
Now they're the big bad wolf.
And now when Russia colluded in the election, and which was a fact, right? And then,
as is this,
right? And then the other side at that time was like, listen, Russia's colluding in the election. No, that's a bunch of hearsay. That's not true. Oh, no. But now it's true, right? No. So now Russia is the bad guy, right? Right? And now he's the one being weak on Russia. So it's like, oh my God, can everybody just shut up and
just shut the fuck up.
Keep calm and carry on. Yeah. Like, whatever, dude. It's like just the thing went down. Get it up again, and now figure out how to prevent this in the future. And this
is 2020 toilet paper all over again. I'm still trying to figure out what the hell those people did. Was everybody just planning to be a mummy for Halloween last year?
I don't know. Where did the toilet paper go?
Where did it go?
And what I thought was interesting, going back to the toilet paper, the toilet paper
shortage of 2020,
shortage debacle. I like to think of 2020. Pandemic, the pandemic edition. Okay, so I could understand that for months when COVID first, came around in March of last year, that cleaning products or antibacterial soap and stuff like that. I could understand that going off the shelves
because people were doing more than usual. Correct.
But why toilet paper?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't even napkins. It was toilet paper.
Well, it was napkins once toilet papers ran out.
Right. But why toilet paper?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, because it wasn't paper towels.
Yeah.
It wasn't napkins. It
Yeah.
wasn't.
And like we've been through a lot of like hurricanes, and we know a lot of things that go
Oye,
out. Toilet paper is not one of them.
Aquí jamás y nunca se acaba el papel de toile.
You know. So, I mean, was COVID going to affect the water source? Like, I don't know. Like,
Was it going to make you shit more?
I can't remember if we talked about it here on the show. I'm sure we did.
I'm sure we touched on it.
You know, that was probably like 50 episodes ago. Well, no, yeah, it was around episode 100.
Yeah.
You know, when we were supposed to have our 100th episode. I didn't understand that, and now with the gas, crean que la gente se freaking da.
There you go.
Did you see the? Well, you
know why there's a shortage? There's going to be a shortage because people are scared of the shortage. So now it's also that mentality of like, oh, I have to have all the gas.
Right.
I have to have
and then of course, the pictures of coming up of people with like freaking like kitty-sized pools in the back of their car, filling them up with gas.
You know what? I don't care. I'm just going to say it. You know what? If their car catches fire, I'm not going to feel bad.
It's like,
and then when we see them only in dating, I'm not going to feel bad.
Are you planning on going to the moon with all that gas? Like, are you like?
What are you going to do with it?
Fueling up a rocket?
What are you gonna do with it? Because you don't have a place. Clearly, you're putting it in a fucking storage bin or whatever. You don't have a place to store it, and gas evaporates. So what are you just gonna leave this outside in your backyard?
It's not like you're trying to fill up your generator.
That's what I'm saying.
Because generators go through a lot of gas.
Fair enough, but
right.
But electricity is not the problem.
Yeah. It's
people are just stupid.
It's crazy.
I'm ready for the meteorite.
No. When I saw the president of AAA making a statement, I'm like, ¿Cuándo este hombre saca la cara? AAA of all, like the most benign.
Yeah, really. Like
beige,
people forget it exists.
Organization. I love AAA, by the way.
You've been a member for years.
Of AAA.
Yes.
I love AAA, and I love going to the AAA travel agency. They give you maps.
I always think of you with the triptych.
The triptych's amazing.
Yep.
The triptych. Oh yeah, I flew to Las Vegas. Then I crossed the Mojave Desert down to San Diego, and I went from San Diego to Vancouver. No, without GPS, all on my triptych.
On the triptych?
That triptych would, like, to the last corner where to turn would tell me. I'm like, see, you could do it without a.
Unlike the GPS that actively tried to kill us when we were on a cliff and it said to turn right.
Yes. Actually, when I went to North Carolina last year, this is something that I thought about a lot. That we were looking for the cabin, the cabin rental. Of course, it was in the middle of the night because why would you get there at noon, right?
You never do. If you're going in the winter, you're never going to get there.
And I remember it was telling me to keep on. And like I think about this quite often. It was a thing that I had to turn right onto like a dirt road, but it didn't tell you how right. Right? When you turned right, if you would have kept going straight, you would have fallen off the road. Oh, you had to like turn right and then like steer
like hug
right.
the road,
yeah,
and,
sort of, and get on there. And I remember looking, and I'm like, it's like really like darker than usual in front. I'm like, yeah, because there was like a 30-foot drop. Like,
thank God you went slow.
Yeah. So yeah, people, like, get over the gas issue. La gasolina no se va a acabar.
I mean, come on.
And you know what another
thing?
You know what another thing? Oh, everything becomes political. Just an FYI.
It's political now.
Gas prices are generally
higher in the summer.
Not only that, they're generally not determined by the government. Okay?
It's supply and demand, right?
It's supply and demand, and it's kind of complicated because it's also set by, I forget,
OPEC?
ODEC, yes,
OPEC.
which is kind of OPEC, which is like this kind of governing body of fuel that's international, that it doesn't necessarily have to do with the economy,
but somehow it's
there's
involved.
Like a million different factors that go in and out
to gas price,
right? Because when gas prices hit an all-time high in like, I think it was like 2004, 2005.
It was like $4 a gallon.
Yeah, and at that moment the economy wasn't bad, because a lot of people think that gas prices are
based on
parallel or in line with the economy, and they're not. There's a lot of different factors that go into it, but it's like everything else. If it happens under your watch and it goes down,
yeah, it's your fault.
Great, you brought down gas prices. If it goes up under your watch, even if you didn't nothing about it,
right?
It's your fault.
Yeah,
so
you're not gonna win.
So yeah, stop it, people.
Enough with the gas.
Take the bus or get a bike.
Get a bike, or get a Tesla.
Or get a Tesla.
Get a Tesla.
And if you get a Tesla, let me know because I could give you my referral code.
Ooh.
And you could get 1,000 supercharged miles.
Oh, I don't know what
Chicos,
that
está
means.
buenísimo.
What is it?
Know
What
the
is that?
supercharged miles
What is that?
when on Tesla?
Uh-huh.
When you buy a Tesla,
Okay.
when you order a Tesla, excuse me, because you don't buy a Tesla. When you order a Tesla, it asks you, are you being referred by any Tesla owner?
Okay.
And then you put their link because they give you a special link when you buy when you order a Tesla, when you are a Tesla owner.
I mean, he drank the Kool-Aid already, guys.
And if you use somebody's link, that person gets 1,000 supercharged miles, and then you get 1,000 supercharged miles.
And what are supercharged
Supercharged miles is that you in the Tesla stations.
Oh, okay.
You could charge your car for free up to 1,000 miles.
Okay.
So you get 1,000 miles for free.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So like when I've gone to Wawa to charge my car,
Uh-huh.
I get it free because I use my neighbor's referral code.
Nice. Ya tú ves. So I've been wanting to ask you about this for quite some time now. This story actually was first reported back in April 26, by our friend of the podcast, Louis Aguirre. And I don't know
We love Louis Aguirre.
we do love us some Louis Aguirre, our very own eco warrior out there fighting the good fight. But this story was about a Miami private school warning their staff that they would threaten to fire any of their staff who takes the COVID-19
Oh
vaccine.
yeah, that's cool. Those crazy people.
For those of you who didn't know this, South Florida. It's a private school. It's not one of our bigger schools necessarily. Basically, they're saying that any of the employees who get a vaccine will be fired. I mean, at the end of the day. And there have been parents who tried to get their kids out of the school and they couldn't because they're contracted to the end of the year, and it's a whole kerfuffle. But the reason that I bring it up is because the minute I heard this, I immediately started thinking, and this is why you're a lawyer and I come to you. I was thinking, doesn't that violate I mean, number one, you just lie. You know what I mean? Just don't tell them you got the damn vaccine. But doesn't that violate certain like HIPAA laws? And I know that's not your area of expertise necessarily, but isn't there legal grounds for the fire if a person is fired to combat them or to have some type of legal standing?
For the employee to
So the employee, right? The employee goes and gets the vaccine. They come back and they're like, "Me vacuné," and they're like, "You're fired." Doesn't that fall under, because we're talking about a medical situation?
Okay, so no, because not being vaccinated. Well, being vaccinated or not being vaccinated doesn't matter which one of the two groups you're on. That's not a protected class. So that you can't fire on that. I'm sorry, you can't sue on that
Grounds.
on those grounds. So the way that I would approach it would be if through a HIPAA violation, but that's not a HIPAA violation because they're asking you, if I remember the story correctly, they said that anybody that had been vaccinated up to that day was fine. But moving forward, somebody could not get vaccinated. Which is still bullshit. I will probably think that that's not a HIPAA violation because they're not asking you for your medical records. They're not looking into your medical records. It's kind of sort of, I would think. I mean, this is a lot of hypotheticals
because we don't know.
What they were asking was so just stupid and unfounded that it's like it's kind of hard to answer in a kind of a pragmatic, educational way or intellectual way. It's not a HIPAA violation because they're not looking into your medical records. They're kind of taking your word for it.
Okay.
And you're not a protected class. So can they fire you? Probably. And it's a private school. Mm-hmm. So can they fire you? Yeah, I don't see...
I would just think there's some violation there somewhere.
I don't see...
Because they're basically saying you cannot you cannot receive a degree of medical attention that you have deemed necessary for your own well-being.
Right, but
I mean, they're threatening your job.
Right, but that's when you are suing for wrongful termination, because that's what it would be.
Right.
You have to. there's only certain reasons that you could sue for wrongful termination.
Okay.
Right? And I can't think of where that would fall. I know it sounds crazy. But I can't think of where that would fall because, again, vaccinations, whether you're vaccinated or not, that's not a protected class. So there goes that. And so anything with discrimination, with all of that, you can't.
I see your gears turning.
The only thing I can think of is, like, for example, this is the only thing I can think of. If you want to get vaccinated, but the school tells you you can't, so you don't, and you catch COVID from somebody in the school,
right,
and you suffer some type of irreparable harm,
right, you can hold them liable.
Then maybe, just maybe, then that'll even be a stretch. You could sue for some type of negligence. Like, I'm trying to, like, think of elements and stuff.
Right.
Maybe you could sue on some type of negligence, or some of workplace negligence, or what would be interesting, because I'm really now, like, thinking outside the box.
I see you.
No, because I was thinking, would that fall under workers' comp? Like, I'm not 100% sure.
Oh no, I don't know.
Right? Because if you're told that you can't get vaccinated,
and
then because it's very
because I mean, you can't sue if you get a cold from a kid,
huh?
Because you can't sue if you get a cold from a
but this
student.
is different, because in this particular case, like, no, because this is not liability based. So no, they could sue you. They could fire you,
even though they're basically threatening you to avoid you from taking preventative measures
yes.
for your own health.
But these people are freaking crazy.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
These people, like, it came out, they're like, they were like...
Did you hear what they said about the pregnant lady?
What did they say about the pregnant lady?
They said that because their whole thing is that they don't know the long-term effect, which is... okay, if you're going to tell me, like, you don't know the long-term effects of the vaccine or whatever, you know what? Fair. Okay, fair. We don't, right? Let's be upfront about it, right? For all we know, 10 years from now, it could be like, hey, everybody, you're going to grow another head out of your ear or whatever. But they were saying that it's like, no, because there was a case of someone who got vaccinated and came into contact with a pregnant woman, and the pregnant woman miscarried. It's like,
oh, really?
It's like, right, yes. That's exactly the reason that she miscarried.
No, wait.
That's exactly why she miscarried.
I remember, because the thing is that when the principal spoke to, like, the principal of this school spoke on Zoom to, like, the parents and the faculty and all that, and somebody recorded the meeting.
Oh, okay.
Right? And if I recall correctly, she said something like, oh, I know someone, or somebody here in the school knows someone who miscarried. It
was one of those anecdotal.
And I'm like, okay, so you believe that, but you don't believe infectious disease, the CDC and infectious disease doctors,
right.
Dr. Fauci or whatever other doctor that is telling you otherwise. You don't believe them.
You're going with basically an urban legend.
Right. That's sort of like, people in my office that, want $1 million because they were an offender bender. And then when you tell them, no, you can't have $1 million.
Pero mi vecino dice.
Pero yo conozco a alguien que le dieron $500,000. And I'm like, okay, all right. So how do I even begin to counter and answer that?
You can't.
So, but yeah, no, those people are, like, really crazy. But wait, did you say, because this part I hadn't heard, did you say that parents tried to pull their kids out of the school?
There were some parents who tried to pull their kids out of school. And I'm actually going to pull up the article right now, so forgive me one moment while I look that up. Several parents told Local 10 News they're outraged by the policy. Some parents pulled their children from the school earlier because the school was not enforcing mask wearing or social distancing, despite a student testing positive for COVID in September. And then other parents have been forced to keep their children enrolled until the term ends on June 18th because they said the school refuses to refund any tuition that was already paid.
Mira, I think I've said this here on the show, and I'll say it again. I think that when you live in a first world country, and especially us Americans, that we tend to be so spoiled, and we act like nasty children, I think you kind of lose sight of stuff. And let me explain. We've gotten vaccinated, right? And like let me give you an example. The other day I was at Starbucks, and at Starbucks they don't. The Starbucks are not open. Like, you could go in to get your drink.
Yes, yeah. It's
but you cannot sit.
You
inside.
can't sit there. Yeah.
And the other day, I went to get my drink, my guava lemonade, and as I am walking out, I'm walking out. I have my mask on. I'm walking out. I'm still in the store. I got a message on my phone. They give me the drink. I put the straw in. I got a message on my phone, and I was kind of reading the text message. So I was kind of like really walking slowly towards the exit. Right. I took my first sip of the drink.
Okay.
And the girl was like, "Excuse me, sir, you can't drink that in the store." And I'm like, okay, you could go on an airplane, but you can't take a sip of your drink at Starbucks while you are stepping out.
Right.
And there was nobody in the store, right?
Right.
It's a common sense thing. Like, those are the type of things that's like, okay, we have a large percentage of the population already that's gotten vaccinated.
At least first.
So I think that there's certain things that can be
just
calm
down. Calm down.
Calm down, Starbucks.
UFit masks are optional now.
Right. Actually, I was about to talk about that. So I think there's certain things that it's like, okay, calm down. Like, bring it down a notch, okay? Right. The numbers are going down. There are a lot of people that are vaccinated. Right. I'm, in like my particular case, I was stepping out of the store. I was
you weren't just standing there.
I was maybe 10 feet away from the door. Right. Like, the mask police, like, "Sir, you can't drink inside the store." I still had my mask on. I just had it under my chin. So, like, things like that, like, now it's like, okay, well, what's the point of getting vaccinated if, like, something as simple as that, it's like, it's still like, right? But on the flip side to that, right, in still like large public gatherings, especially indoors, this is the part of wearing a mask that I've never understood is like the people that have had such a big deal with it. And I'm like, really? Like, are we such entitled son of a bitches here in the U.S. that, like, it's such a big deal? It's such a nuisance to wear a mask that weighs a whole ounce.
My favorite was people who were like, oh my God, it's so annoying to wear to the supermarket. It's so restrictive. And these are people who I would literally turn around and be like, I agree with you. It sucks. Wearing the mask, you know what? It is uncomfortable. But come talk to me when you go to the gym 4 times a week and do 30 minutes on a treadmill with a mask and then do free weights. Because if I can do it, if I can do that, I don't want to hear you bitch about how hard it is to walk down an aisle. Right,
but the argument I would make about that is that that's optional, right? That's why that is a reason I have not gone back to the gym, because I sweat like on MF.
Yeah.
So with the beard and the sweating and the this and that,
and the hat
I'm like,
and everything,
and I'm not even going to deal with the mask at a gym. So for now, I've decided that until they don't give you the option of not wearing a mask, I'm vaccinated, so I'm good, right? Until they don't give you that option. Now, you told me about UFit. I didn't know that in UFit it was optional.
Yeah.
That'll make me rethink going back to it, because I'm dying to go back to the gym. I'm like, okay, I will remove myself from this situation because I want to go and not have to wear a mask, right? So I'm not going to bitch and complain about it. I'm just not going to go, right? But to other stuff like, going to the store, going to the supermarket, whatever, that's the part about wearing a mask that I've never quite gotten what people are so irate about. It's like, coño, it's like there's so many problems in the world and there's so many issues abroad and so many stuff, and we're here complaining.
If a mask is your biggest problem,
you have no
complaining
problems. That our constitutional rights are being like stripped away because we're wearing a stupid mask that costs nothing, that it's just,
it weighs nothing.
That's the part that I've never understood. Is it annoying? Yes. Do we wish we didn't have to wear it? Yeah. But I think it's such a small price to pay to, deal with what we were dealing with. It's here in the US, I mean, we are whiners and we're complainers, and the moment that something happens that we're not, 100% on board with. We all go Karen. We all turn into Karen, you know? And it's like, ay, ya, para, come down. Ya, ponte la stupid máscara ya, go on with your day.
I love it. I love it. Well, you know what else we love to do, especially down here in South Florida? We love to eat.
Oh, yes.
And you and I are going to be going to the Sobe Wine and Food Festival. So this week we actually have with us the creator of the Sobe WFF, Sobe Wine and Food Festival, Lee Schrager, and he's going to talk to us about, it's the 20th anniversary. Like, it's crazy to think it's been around for 20 years, but also, all the protocols that are being taken, the masks and the distancing and the reduction in attendance and all that good stuff. So without further ado, here we have our chat with Lee Schrager. All right, mi gente. Now, as we said, this week's guest, let's just say he has probably like the best job in the world. He is the founder and director of the Sobe Food and Wine Festival. I mean, my dream is to oversee that much food. Thank you for joining us, Lee Schrager.
Good to be here. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Now, I just want to jump into it because we're looking at the 20th anniversary of the festival this year, right? Like, did you ever think when you started this 20 years ago that it would be this much of an, I'm going to use the I word, of an icon of South Florida events?
No, we had no idea. We had no long-term plan, no long-term vision. We just, took it event by event and built it to where it's at today, 20 years later.
20 years later. Wow. So I know we're coming off of COVID, technically still in COVID. It's a food event. I think what a lot of people are wondering right now is, what precautions are being taken, because they want to go out, they want to have fun, but they want to be safe, right? And
sure.
we all want to be safe. So what can we expect in terms of that?
Well, safety and comfort is our number one priority. And at any point in time, up until, a day or two beforehand, if we don't feel like we can produce the most safe, comfortable environment for our talent, the consumers, our sponsors, the city of Miami Beach, we're not moving on. We don't need to be back. We don't need to be the first people back. We need to be the first people back doing it correctly. And that's really our commitment and our promise to all of, to the city and, to the talent and consumers. The festival will look and feel different this year, but the message will remain the same to, eat, drink, educate, and this year support local. So some of the biggest changes, every event will take place outdoors. Events that were, things like the Burger Bash that had one big session will now be divided into two sessions.
Wow.
Yeah, best of the best will be, two different nights rather than one night. The tribute dinners outdoors. Grand tasting will have an early session and late session. So, numbers cut drastically, number of events cut down. So our focus is really going to be on, as I said, keeping it the safest that we can possibly do.
Yeah. So you heard it here, people. Either you put on your masks or there's no event. All right. I'm not going to say it again. All right. You got to.
Listen, first you have to get in and you're going to have to attest to that you have been tested and or that you have a negative test and or you've been vaccinated. That's the first thing. You have to attest to that.
Okay.
Then once you get in, other than, when you're eating and drinking, and that will be at seating areas this year, there's mask wearing. And that's how it needs to be this year. So we can, there'll be a following year, a 21st year, and the other events like ours across the country will be back in the safest way.
Absolutely. Now, I know you mentioned, it's going to be fewer,
right.
than previous years. But what I think is fantastic, and again, as a Miami homegrown boy, that I appreciate and I thank you for is that 80% of your lineup, even with reduced, is still going to be local based. So,
well, it was important. It was important, that we support local and the focus be on local. And, let's face it, people like Jean George and Thomas Geller are considered local this year, and they're big names. But it was really important to us to support and to showcase people who have been supporting us from the very beginning here in South Florida.
Yeah, no, and as somebody who, our show has had, Eileen from Finca, we've had Gio from Chat Chow, Seth,
Sure.
The Burger Beast. It's really important to us that, events like yours really recognize where they're taking place, and by doing that, I think a big part of it is making sure that local is included. You got to give it that flavor. So I just wanted to say thank you for that because, sometimes it's very easy for these events to just kind of jump in and be like, oh yeah, we're taking place X in X city, and it has
Sure.
no reflection of it.
Oh.
You know,
Local is going to be important this year. It's always been important, but this year more than ever.
yeah. And if you guys doubt that, there's literally an event called Croquetas and Cocktails. You cannot get more Miami than Croquetas and Cocktails. Okay, like it is what it is. Now, for those who don't know, I know that the festival has, as we said, it's its 20th anniversary, but it really ultimately is a fundraiser, right? It is a fundraiser in conjunction with, I believe, FIU. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
I would be frightened to think after 20 years that people don't know that 100% of the net proceeds benefit the Chaplin School of Hospitality and Tourism Management at Florida International University. I mean, that's been our message: eat, drink, educate, and we're educating the students at Florida International University.
I always assume it's someone's first year, right? So let's make sure that they understand it. And even last year, and I think this is something that needs to be really praised, is even with all of the COVID that was going on over the last year, obviously we didn't have an event, but you still managed to continue the event in some format. I think, was it monthly? You would have, these fundraisers where you could go and get, Night Owl cookies. And I'm not going to lie, I went to a couple, but that's also just because I have any excuse to go see drag queens in residential areas. Is a draw for me. And I think that's great. What led you to do that last year? What was that brainchild?
We did have our festival last year. We were in February. We were the last weekend and probably one of the last national events that took place in this country.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we were February 27th or 28th, and, everything got shut down right after that. So we were fortunate that we were the last event out and probably the first event in. And, throughout the year from, late March of last year, we were fundraising and raising money for the local community. As you stated, we did bake sales at my house for 8 weekends starting in April that went through to the end of May, where we'd invite local restaurants to participate and sell food, and that they, obviously benefited from. We were involved in, we did a lot of programming. We did a whole series with Chat Chow on educate cocktail classes. We did lots of culinary classes. We did, we were doing it. We're out there doing it from the get-go. We were the first people doing it. We raised millions of dollars doing it, not only for the industry, but for, a bunch of other organizations, but all focused on relief and recovery.
Yeah, and I have to say, I mean, it was so necessary, and the fact that you guys stepped up is definitely to be commended. Now, moving back to this year, it's a 4-day festival. It's in May. Where can they go to get tickets? Where can our listeners go to get tickets?
They can go to our website, which is www.sobewfff.org, SobeWineFoodFestival.org. Or if you can't remember that, just go to our website. Just Google, South Beach Wine and Food Festival. One way or the other, you'll get to our ticket site.
Yeah, and we'll be tagging on our Instagram and on the details of this episode as well. So there's no excuse, guys. You have many, many ways to find the tickets to what is, quite frankly, one of my favorite events of the year. I'm not just blowing smoke. It's because I'm a glutton. That is why it's one of my favorite events of the year. So now, as we wrap up, and again, thank you, Lee. I know you have a very hectic schedule of,
No problem. I'm happy to be here.
On to the next, right? I know you're a New Yorker. I know there is the New York Wine and Food Festival, but level with us. Sobe's your favorite, right?
Sobe's my favorite. Listen, there are things I enjoy more about producing an event in New York. And there are things I enjoy about here. They're totally different festivals. We built it around the demographic and the settings. So I love the backdrop of I love being on the beach down here in South Beach, but I love having, the backdrop of New York City. I love how easy it is because most of the talent lives in New York. It's a great time of year in October when all the cookbooks come out, so we have access to great talent, but I couldn't pick one over the other. I mean, really, I have to say there are unique events to both cities, and I have as many friends, working in New York as I do in South Florida. So I look forward to them both equally, and that's really the truth.
Well, that spoken like a proud father of both, really. That's what it sounds like. So, Lee, again, thank you so much for taking time out. I can't wait. Hopefully, get to see you at one of the events. I know that you probably are from event to event and probably have like about a split second. And I wouldn't be surprised if you told me you learned how to teleport just to be able to make it from one to the other.
I wish.
All right, Lee. Well,
Show me, I'll learn. Yeah,
You know what?
I'll do it.
We'll get on that. We'll look into it. It's the one thing I did not learn during quarantine is how to teleport. Learned how to bake a lot of things. Didn't learn how to teleport.
Well, when you learn, let me know.
All right, I'll do a TED Talk. How's that? I'll invite you.
Even better. I'll look forward to it.
All right, Lee. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Nice to chat with you guys. And thank you to all your listeners who have been supporting us for 20 years.
Yes. Can't wait to make it 20 more.
You and I both.
Take care.
And we're back.
I still can't believe it's been 20 years that the Sobe Wine and Food Festival's been around. Like, it makes sense, but it's like, man, 20 years.
Actually, it can. but it's for another reason. Because I remember you know how there's certain things in your life that you use them as a historical marker?
Right.
One of mine is law school. Like pre-law school, post-law school. My life pre-law school, post-law school. You know, the big move to Michigan.
Yeah.
And I remember being at the beach. I guess it would have been one of the first ones.
Right.
With all the tents and all that.
Yeah,
and it was pre-law school. So yeah, 20 years.
Wow. It's been that long since you've been in law school?
I started law school. Hello, you helped me move. This fall, it will be 18 years.
Jesus Christ.
Can you believe it?
Wow. It could vote.
18 years. And about half of those years, we were driving through Alabama. That's a story for another day. It's really not much of a story.
It's still one of my favorite stops.
When I moved to Michigan and I drove up, with all my stuff in my car, it helped me move. This is one of the reasons why we have a podcast.
It's true.
And for some reason, the route we took had us driving through Alabama. I remember in Alabama, we went to Havana.
That's right. Yeah.
Havana, Alabama.
We're like, okay.
And just... we drove all of Alabama from like one end to the other.
Yeah, seriously. You thought Florida was long.
North and south, not east and west. And it just took forever. I mean, I think we're in Alabama like 6 or 7 days. It felt.
Like we may still be there, actually.
That's why it's in Alabama. I grew up going to Mobile, Alabama, and you know me, I'm very positive. No matter
There's something to find everywhere.
No matter where I go, I'm like, middle of nowhere, but it has a charming post office.
Right.
Like,
que vista más linda, or,
look at these quaint little street lights.
Right.
I'm hoping one day I feel that way about Alabama. I'll just leave it there.
All right. Well, since we've been driving through Alabama for so damn long, I think we're thirsty. So.
Can I confess something?
You're not thirsty.
I am. Do you know what songs I don't like? And I'm just going to say it here in public on the podcast. What? I don't like Sweet Carolina. I don't like Sweet Home Alabama.
Okay.
I said it.
I don't have feelings about Sweet Home Alabama, but I have feelings about Sweet Caroline. You know what I hate about Sweet Caroline? Okay, actually.
Oh, did I touch a nerve?
You did. You know what? We're postponing the sodas for a second. Okay. I don't like that song for a couple reasons. One is because
you're not white?
Well, okay, let's go eliminate number one.
You're not Anglo?
Because I'm not white and Anglo. But also,
I think that's probably the whole.
That encompasses everything.
Yeah, you don't need to say anything.
That encompasses everything. But like one time I was listening to some morning radio show, and this was like a good 15-something years ago, and they were, for God knows what reason, interviewing Caroline Kennedy. Mm-hmm. And one of the hosts, she was talking to her, and she was like, when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I used to love to go, we lived in the same town as you, and I used to love to go and see, the horses, and as you were riding the horses, and it was so beautiful, and you looked so great on your horse. And Carolyn Kennedy was like, okay, whatever. And I was like, y esa es la antipática that they wrote that song about. So I'm like, no, yo le hice la cruz a la canción estúpida.
That song is about her?
That song is about her.
That's how much interest
And that is one of those songs, that, you know what? Again, to your point about being white, that's one of those songs that when you play it, no matter any white place, they're just like, oh my God, Sweet Caroline. I'm like, shut up. It's the white people equivalent of La Paella.
I've always said this, I could pass until I open up my mouth. Because, I have light eyes and,
right.
sort of fair skin. not that I've ever cared to pass.
Right, it wasn't
because that's never been a thing
an
for
aspiration,
me.
yeah.
An aspiration for me. But like when you play like Sweet Caroline, Sweet Home Alabama, and Margaritaville, I'm like, wow.
That's like that's the white trinity.
I'm like, wow, I'm so not. This is so not my element. Like,
Carolina.
I mean, play La Chica de Gang. I mean, so please do not give me Neil Diamond's greatest hits.
Listen, it's not worse than me saying "Imagine" is the most overrated song in the world.
You know what's funny about you saying that? Before you would say that, I was indifferent about that song. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. But after you started hating on that song, I have to tell you, I started hating on the song a little bit too. And which is weird because I usually don't fall for peer pressure. But
I'm not peer pressure.
But it's so true. It's like, man, you want to talk about self-righteous bullshit? Like, I mean, if I want to listen to some cheesy song about world peace, I'll listen to "We Are the World."
Thank you. Yes, like, exactly.
The how to, whole cast of people,
right.
and was much more melodic, and you could sing along to. I love when people are like, my favorite song is "Imagine" by John Lennon, and I was inspired by Joni Mitchell.
God, it's like, who hurt you as a child?
Okay, we totally got off. Okay, this was a little bit of a petty little segment.
Is a petty bitch
segment. Yeah. So, but we love all of our listeners. And listen, if you like Sweet Home Alabama or Sweet Home Alabama or Sweet Caroline or Margaritaville, you rock and own it, and you have fun. And you know what? We'll play that song in the next song, and then we'll play El Grupo Nietzsche.
Yeah,
Caballo Viejo or Caballo Viejo, whatever. And we will have a multicultural fun time.
I think we're starting to build our playlist for our eventual anniversary party that we'll have at some point.
Can that be the music they play before we get there? Like
the pre-party.
Okay.
While people are arriving.
Okay.
Or setting up.
So anyway, let's go
setting up the rinse and repeat, as you say.
Let's go before we get ourselves further in the hole.
Yes.
So I'm very thirsty.
Okay,
so last soda. So last week was Mother's Day. So a belated Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the amazing mothers out there, or people that want to be mothers.
Mother figures.
It's mother figures. I was gonna say, no, you don't find him funny. I would say, because I'm a mother lover, you're a mother lover.
Is that Jimmy?
That's Andy Samberg, Lonely Island. Anyway, so last week on CBS Sunday Morning,
it's been a while.
They had a story that really I thought was so nice, and I looked it up. And I actually saw the documentary, and I loved it. It's called Duty Free. Mm-hmm. So my last soda goes to Cyan Pierre Regis. So he is a filmmaker, and his mom got laid off last year at 75.
Oh.
But she's still very, active.
But who's going to hire you at 75?
Full of life and whatever. Yeah, and that was the problem she was having. So he said, you know what? Fuck that. They did a bucket list of things for her to do, and he makes a documentary on that.
Oh, and it's called Duty Free?
Yes. So they even went skydiving.
Oh, love it.
And she was totally on board for all of this stuff.
Aww.
And it was also good because, like many people, he had his life and his career, and maybe didn't spend as much time as he wanted to with his mom previous to that. And
which we're all guilty of.
Obviously. Yeah, no.
Well, okay. Fair enough, but maybe quality time, shall I say?
Right. So, so I thought it was really endearing, and it was very nice. So if somebody wants to watch something fun and something uplifting, watch Duty Free. And he's getting my last soda, and I forget
it's on the streamers.
It is, and I forget which one it was, because since there's 50 of them now.
Just roll the dice, guys. You'll find it.
I forget which one it was. I think it was Netflix or Hulu, or was it Amazon?
Or HBO Max. Or Paramount Plus. Or was it Tubi?
Was it Tubi?
No, not Zubi, Tubi.
Wait, hold on.
YouTube Red. Or, again, it's ridiculous.
Wait, no, now I gotta find out because the thing is that I have all of them, so I just put it and
You just go, you watch.
yeah. Okay, people, find it on your own.
Just find it. It's duty free. Duty free, find it. So my last soda, ostensibly this is going to be a flat soda.
Oh.
Even though, okay, it's a flat soda because what this woman did is illegal. But I'm intrigued. So I don't know if you heard about this story. Did you hear about the Florida woman who was arrested because she was posing as a high school student to get more Instagram followers?
Why did I just think of Hillary Duff?
Hillary Duff would not do that.
No. I know I thought about Hillary Duff.
Why?
Younger.
Oh, that's true. It's kind of okay. It's in real life. Apparently, it gets you arrested. So this 28-year-old Florida woman is accused of posing as a high school student in a vain attempt to boost her follower count on social media.
How old is she?
28. So
Oh, okay.
yeah. It's not like she's 22. No. So she went into American Senior High in Hialeah.
Oh,
Yes.
this is just logo.
Yeah, this just happened like yesterday. And she was carrying pamphlets promoting her Instagram page on Monday morning. She wore a backpack and carried a skateboard as she wandered the halls, filming herself and asking students to follow her account. So a couple of times the security guards, like one time, pulled her over or whatever. And she said, oh no, I'm looking for the office. I'm registering. I'm a new student, whatever. But instead of going to the office, she went back to the halls and she kept roaming. Eventually they caught on that something was off and they kicked her out of the school. And then were able to track her by her Instagram account. They were able to follow her, to find her, and arrest her. Because ultimately, I mean, she was trespassing. And
she was.
And at the end of the day, she was able to get onto a school property, circumventing all of the security. I mean, in this case, it was some comida trying to get followers.
Couldn't she just buy followers like everybody else?
Like everyone else does? Apparently not.
Especially sophisticated entrepreneurs. Wow, I just said that.
Yeah. That's because you're making moves.
Wow. That is really desperate. I mean, is this a world this totally is a world we live in now.
Yes, we just have it now written down. But yes, so I'm giving her a gasless soda.
And what, she got charged with trespassing?
She got charged with... She was taken into custody on charges of burglary, interfering with a school function, and resisting arrest without violence.
Oh, resisting arrest. Wow. You know what I have to say.
So I mean, the scariest part about that is that she was able to get on campus with no problem.
You know what? I have to say, it is terrible.
But with that said,
and she got on all those things, but it's like, man, her determination to get Instagram followers.
Yeah, listen, guys, we didn't do that.
Something tells me that there's a documentary being filmed that we don't know about.
I mean, all we did was make stickers.
Yeah. So don't you sit there trying to give me more excuses.
I don't have time for this. I'm off to play in Houston.
Sorry, we were talking about Hillary Duff.
Well, we're just 1 degree away from her now.
We totally are.
Yep.
With
with Anna.
Yeah.
Anna Villafaña.
Yeah. Wow. Maybe if she would have said she was Hillary Duff. No, because the kids in high school now will be like, Lizzie McGuire, what?
That's true. They don't know Lizzie McGuire.
Do kids? Well, I was gonna say, do kids in high school now know Hannah Montana? Yeah, but those would have been the ones who no.
They might know of her, but they were like 4.
No, because Hannah Montana already ended like 10 years ago.
So they would have been like 8.
Yeah, they could have grown up like when they were.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe they're like 5 when it was on air.
Yeah, but definitely not Lizzie McGuire.
No.
Lizzie McGuire would have been pre-law school.
That's.
You know why I know that? Because I'll never forget. I mean, me and my photographic memory, that when I moved to Michigan, the first time I went to the movie theater, which would have been the fall of 2003, the movie theater was playing the Lizzie McGuire movie.
Oh, wow.
Which that was at the end of the series.
Yeah, that was the finale.
Why do I even know
that? Was
this?
The finale of the series.
Why do I know this? Why do I know this?
Why would you not know it? Why not?
That's like people like tell me when Disney Plus first came out that I'm like, oh shit, like one of the shows I would be most excited to watch was Even Stevens.
Oh, I love
because I love that show with Shia LaBeouf, and it's like, oh, he was on a show, and I'm like, how did you not know that show? That was so popular.
Remember also that we were watching Disney Channel a little later than we probably should have been.
That may be true. No, but people
I
that
own
didn't-
it. I own
No,
it.
but people that didn't know. Yeah, but when that show came out, we were probably like in our late teens. Yeah, still it would have been. It was still after.
I like how you were going to try to make the case for it.
I was
and it's
like, no, but wait, how old were we? Oh no, yeah, we were like
yeah,
18, 19.
yeah.
Okay, but really,
It was. I don't care.
no, you mean to tell me that Disney doesn't know that 18 and 19-year-olds were watching
do.
That's So Raven,
Of course they did.
or even High School Musical
Of course they did.
1, 2, and 3?
Yes. It's all three of them and Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure.
What?
Sharpay had a spin-off movie.
Yeah, that was the pink girl, right?
Yeah. Ashley Tisdale.
I mean, I don't think of her anymore. You know what I think of Ashley Tisdale now?
What?
Candace from
Oh,
Phineas
that's
and Ferb.
true. Phineas and Ferb. Yeah.
Phineas, which by the way, to our listeners, last week I think we talked about Rolling Stones.
Oh, yeah.
Top-
Well, no. You and I talked about it. We didn't talk about it on air.
Sometimes I'm losing track. Like,
I see that. I see that.
we talked about like Rolling Stone had
The top
100
sitcoms.
sitcoms of all time, and Phineas and Ferb was there.
As it should be.
I was happy that it was there, but I think of her as
Candace.
yeah. I've really tried to get Tristan to Phineas and Ferb, really tried, and I think he's doing it to spite me. I'm not getting it into to spite me, but that's another story. But anyway, wow, that's so Raven. Wow, I have had such a long day, people.
I feel like I'm just watching you unravel, and it's kind of great.
Because I'm thinking of Neil Diamond, but I said that's so Raven. Yeah.
On that note, I think it's time to wrap it up.
What is it that I say at the end? I hope we grab your pastelito. Dude, help me out.
Okay, so we hope you listen, laughed, and learn.
Uh-huh.
And don't forget, and remember to grab your pastelito, your croqueta, and your cafecito. And don't forget, guys, May 19th, trivia at Beat Culture. May 20th is our debut pop-up at Union Beer for Pin Pan Pollo. Follow us at Pin Pan Pollo MIA. And I think that's pretty much it.
That's why you're in PR.
Well, I'm not, but thank you.
Well, everybody, we hoped... you already said it. Okay, everybody. Have a great weekend. Bye. Wake up. Doo-doo.
Pero Let Me Tell You is co-hosted by Darian Borges and Ismaeliano, produced by Ismaeliano, and our theme, Pero Let Me Tell You Freestyle, is composed by Michael Angelo Lomlaplex, the official gay guy. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes.